Hello friends, welcome to our channel Simply Mathematical. In this video, let us look at the chapter 1 of the standard 12th, okay, that is relations and functions. Okay. Now in 11th standard, you have studied relations and functions, right? You had the same name for the chapter, okay, that is relations and function. You have studied that chapter in 11th standard. Now there you had introduced relations, okay, and the relations are what? Relations are nothing but recognizable links or connections, okay, between two objects, okay. So in daily life, relations means recognizable links or connections between any two objects, okay. Example, father and son, okay, brother and sister, or teacher and student, okay, like this relations you can have in daily life, okay. Now you had also defined the term relation, okay, in 11th standard. So what was the definition? So definition of relation is, you consider the cross product A cross B, okay. So let A cross B be the cross product of sets A and B, then a subset of the set A cross B is called as a relation in the set A cross B. So any subset of the set A cross B, okay, is called a relation in the set A cross B. Now the set A cross B is equal to what? The set of all objects A comma B such that A belongs to A and B belongs to B, right? This is the cross product A cross B. Now you have to take any subset of the set A cross B and that will be called as the relation, okay, in the set A cross B. So what is a relation? Relation is nothing but subset of the set A cross B. Now it is denoted by capital R, okay. So a relation is denoted by capital R. Now let us look at an example, okay. So example, let A be equal to the set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, okay, and the set B be equal to 8, 9. Now what you do is you take the cross product of A cross B, okay. Now cross product of A cross B means what? The elements of the type A comma B such that A belongs to A and B belongs to B, okay. So here you can see that the elements of A cross B will be of the type this A comma B, okay, where A is from the set A and B is from the set B. So the first element I have written is 1 comma 8, right? 1 comma 8, 1 is from A and 8 is from B, right? Look at the second element. Second element I have written as 1 comma 9, okay. So I have taken the first element of the set A and the second element of the set B, okay. So like that you can write all the elements. So what will be the next element? 2 comma 8, right here, then 2 comma 9, then 3 comma 8, then 3 comma 9, okay, and so on. You can write all the elements, okay. The last element will be 10 comma 9 here, okay. So now if you consider a set R equal to the set of A comma B such that A divides B, okay, and A belongs to A and B belongs to B. So this set R is nothing but all the elements A comma B such that A divides B, okay, where A is from A and B is from B. So since you have to look at all the elements such that A divides B, okay, you go to this set A cross B, okay, because A is from A and B is from B, right. So all these elements you have to look at, and also the condition A divides B should be satisfied, okay. So you know that 1 divides every integer, right? 1 divides every integer. So 1 comma 8 will be there in this, okay, 1 comma 8 is there, then 1 comma 9 will also be there, right? Then the next element 2 comma 8. So here you can see that 2 divides 8, right? 2 divides 8. So 2 comma 8 will be there in this set R. Okay, similarly the next element here is what, 3 comma 8. So 3 doesn't divide 8, right? So it won't be there. Okay, then 3 comma 9 also won't be there. Okay, then you go to 4 comma 8. Now since 4 divides 8, it is there in the set R. Okay, then 4 comma 9 is not there, 5 comma 8 is not there, 5 comma 9 will be not there, 6 comma 8 will be not there, 6 comma 9 also will be not there. Okay, all these elements, 7 comma 8 will be not there, 7 comma 9 will be not there. Okay, then 8 comma 8 is there. Why? Because 8 divides 8. Okay, then 9 doesn't divide 8, so it won't be there. 9 divides 9, so it is there. Okay, so the set R is this, right? Now since this set R is a subset of A cross B, right, therefore R is a relation in A cross B, right? All these elements are in A cross B, right? All the elements of R are in A cross B. So R will be a subset of A cross B, therefore R is a relation in A cross B, right? So this was an example, okay, where you had the set A cross B and we have looked at the relation, okay, R, which is a subset of A cross B, right? So now if we have looked at the example, let us now look at the notations, okay. So notations you have to be thorough with. So notations are important. So let us see, if the element A comma B belongs to the set R, okay, which is nothing but the relation, we write A R B, okay. So if A comma B belongs to the set R, we write A capital R B. So what it is read as? It is read as A is related to B. Okay, so A R B means A is related to B. Now when we write this when A comma B belongs to R. Okay. So this notation is very important. If the element A comma B belongs to R, we can also write it as A R B. Okay, that is A is related to B. Now what if A R B is satisfied? So that is A is related to B. We can write A comma B belongs to R. Okay, so both ways we can write. Okay, if A comma B belongs to R, then we can write A R B, and if A R B, if it is there, that is A is related to B, then we can write A comma B belongs to the set R. Okay, now if we look at this example here, so R is the set of all these elements, right? So if we take the first element, now since the first element, that is 1 comma 8 belongs to R, we can write what? 1 is related to 8. Okay. Similarly, if 4 is related to 8, then we can write it as 4 comma 8 belongs to R. Okay. 4 is related to 8, so we can write 4 comma 8 belongs to R. Okay. Now when A comma B belongs to R, definitely we can write A R B, that is A is related to B. Okay, this is clear. And when A is related to B, we can write A comma B belongs to R. Okay, so also we have seen this example, right? Now let us look at the note. Now the note here is relation R in a set A is a subset of A cross A. Okay, so if we write relation capital R in a set A, okay, if we write consider a relation R in a set A, means what? This relation R is a subset of the set A cross A. So we don't have another set B here, right? So if we say relation R in a set A, that means what? We have to consider the subset R as a subset of A cross A, right? You have only one set, and so if we have to look at the relation, we have to consider this, right? The cross product A cross A in the set A. Okay. Now let us go to the next subtopic, right? That is types of relations. Okay, so types of relations you have to know here. There are many types of relations. Okay, so let us look at the first one. So that is the empty relation. Okay, so let us look at the definition of empty relation. Now a relation R in a set A is said to be an empty relation if no element of A is related to any element of A. Okay. So a relation R in a set A is said to be an empty relation if no element of A is related to any element of A. Okay, so let us look at an example. Okay, so if you have a set A equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, right, what you will get? You will get the cross product, that is A cross A, as this. Okay, A cross A is this, that is, you have the elements 1, 1, okay, then 1, 2, okay, like that up to 1, 4. Then we go to the second element, okay, that is 2, and we take the cross product with the elements of A again. So that is 2, 1 will be there, 2, 2 will be there, 2, 3 will be there, 2, 4 will be there. Okay. So like that we continue. Okay. So we get A cross A. Right. Now you look at the relation R, which is equal to what? Which is equal to the set of all A comma B such that A minus B is 10. Okay. So we have all the elements of the type A comma B such that A minus B is equal to 10, right. So that is all the elements of the type A comma B whose difference, that is A minus B, is equal to 10. Okay, now if you consider this first element, you get what? First element is 1, 1, right. So if we take the difference, that is 1 minus 1, which is 0, okay, which is not equal to 10, right here. So we are not getting the condition here. Like that, if you take any element and take the difference, okay, you won't get the difference as 10, right. So you can see that by taking any element you can choose and try this. So for example, if you take this 4, 3, okay, so 4 minus 3 is what? That is 1, right, which won't be equal to 10. Right. So you can try any element. The greatest difference is what? The greatest difference will be 4 minus 1, right, that will be 3, and that is also not equal to 10, right. All the other differences are less than 3. Okay. So you can see that no difference will be equal to 10. Okay. So this relation R will be equal to nothing but the empty set. There is no element in this set R. Okay, so this set R becomes an empty relation. Okay. So we have also looked at an example, okay, of empty relation, right. So now let us go to the next type of relation, that is universal relation. Now what is a universal relation? A relation R in a set A is said to be a universal relation if each element, okay, if each element of A is related to every element of A. Okay. So a relation R in a set A is said to be a universal relation if each element of A is related to every element of A, right. So example we will see. So you look at a set A equal to the set of elements 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, and let the set R be equal to the set of all elements of the type A comma B such that modulus of A minus B is greater than or equal to 0, right. So the relation R is given to be what? The set of all elements A comma B such that the mod of, that is the modulus of A minus B, is greater than or equal to 0, right. See, mod is of any element if you take, right, mod of any element is greater than 0, greater than or equal to 0 in fact, okay, right, mod of any element is greater than or equal to 0, right. So all the elements will satisfy this condition, right, all the elements in this will satisfy this condition, right. You can take any element because mod of any element is greater than or equal to 0. Okay. So every element here, every element here, right, in the relation R will satisfy this condition. Okay. So what you will get the relation R as? You will get the relation R as all the elements in the set A cross A, right, which are these. I have taken the same example. Okay. So all the elements of A cross A will be there in this set. Okay. So R is equal to A cross A, you will get. And so what is A cross A? A cross A is the entire set A cross A, right. So you have every element of A cross A. So the relation becomes the set A cross A. So since you are getting the entire set A cross A, it is called as the universal relation. Okay. So there are two types of relations you have studied now. One is what? The empty relation, wherein there is no element, right? There is no element here. Okay. And universal relation has all the elements of A cross A, that is, you have the set A cross A as the relation. Okay. And that is what? That is nothing but the universal relation. Okay. Now let us go to next definitions. So here you have to study the definition of reflexive relation, symmetric relation and transitive relation. Okay, you already studied two types of relation, empty relation and universal relation. So now next three types of relations are reflexive relation, symmetric relations and transitive relation. Okay. So what are these? So let us see. A relation R in a set A is called a reflexive relation. Okay. If the element A comma A belongs to R. Okay. For all A belonging to the set A. Okay. So all the elements of the type A comma A will belong to this set R. Okay. For all A belonging to the set A. If this condition is satisfied, then what we call the relation as? We call the relation as reflexive. Okay, reflexive. Now let us go to the second. So that is symmetric relation. So a relation R is called a symmetric relation if A comma B belongs to R implies that B comma A belongs to R. Okay, for all A comma B belonging to the set A, right. So when a relation is said to be symmetric, so if you have an element A comma B which is belonging to the set R, then what it should imply? It should imply that the element B comma A should belong to the set R. Okay, for all A comma B belonging to the set A. So if A comma B belongs to R, then B comma A also should belong to R. Okay, so then the relation R will be called as symmetric relation. Now let us go to the third type of relation, which is transitive relation. Now what is a transitive relation? So if A comma B belongs to R and B comma C belongs to R, okay, implies that A comma C belongs to R for all A, B, C belonging to the set A, right. So here you have what? Here you have the element A comma B which belongs to R and B comma C which also belongs to R. So the second element of the first ordered pair is equal to the first element of the second ordered pair, right. B and B, they are there. Now what it should imply? It should imply that A comma C, that is the first element of the first ordered pair, comma the second element of the second ordered pair should belong to R. Okay, so this ordered pair should belong to R, right, for all A, B, C belonging to the set A. Okay, so these three definitions are very, very important. Okay. Now let us go to the next definition, which is the equivalence relation. Okay. So after knowing the three, that is reflexive, symmetric and transitive, now let us go to the next relation, that is known as the equivalence relation. Now a relation R in a set A is called as equivalence relation if R is reflexive, symmetric as well as transitive. Okay, so a relation R in a set A is called as equivalence relation if R is reflexive, symmetric and transitive. That is, R is all the three relations. Okay, reflexive, symmetric as well as transitive. Okay, then what we say, R is an equivalence relation. Okay, now let us look at some solved example. Okay, so example 1 let us look at. So that is what, let L be the set of all lines in a plane, right. So L is a set of all the lines in a plane and R be a relation in L defined as the set R equal to the set of elements L1 comma L2 such that L1 is perpendicular to L2. Okay, show that R is a symmetric relation but neither reflexive nor transitive. Okay, so you are given a set L and you are given a set R which is a relation in the set L. Okay, you have to prove that R is symmetric but neither reflexive nor transitive. Okay, so let us start the solution. L is equal to what? L is equal to the set of all lines in a plane, right. So you are looking at all lines in a plane and the set R, that is the relation, is equal to L1 comma L2 such that L1 is perpendicular to L2. Okay, so you will have something like this, right. If this is the line L1, then the line L2 will be perpendicular to the line L1. Okay, perpendicular means what? The line L1 makes an angle of 90 degrees with L2, right. Okay, so this is what you will have. Now let us prove that, see, you have to prove what? You have to prove that R is symmetric but neither reflexive nor transitive. That is, R will be symmetric, okay, but R won't be reflexive and transitive, okay, and R won't be transitive. So first we will prove that R is not reflexive. Okay, let us prove that R is not reflexive. So let L1 belong to L. Okay, so you take a line L1 which is belonging to the set of all lines in a plane. Okay, so and in reflexive what you have to prove? In reflexive you have to prove that if you have to prove this, okay, sorry, A comma A. So you have to prove that A comma A belongs to the set R, right, for all A belonging to the set A, right. This is the definition of reflexive relation, right. The elements A comma A type will belong to the set R for all A belonging to the set capital A. Now this set capital A in this example is what? This set capital A in this example is nothing but the set L, right, the set of all lines. Okay, so you have to take elements from this, that is the set L. Okay, here, so I am taking any element L1, okay, which is a line, right, in a plane, in the plane. Okay, this line, this is the line L1 in the plane. Okay, now see, this line L1 is not perpendicular to itself, right. If you take a line L1, it won't be perpendicular to itself, right. Any line cannot be perpendicular to itself. Okay, perpendicular means what? It should make an angle of 90 degrees, right, with another line. Now this line is nowhere making an angle of 90 degrees with itself. Okay, so L1 is not perpendicular to itself, that is, L1 is not perpendicular to L1. Okay, like that we can write, right, L1 is not perpendicular to L1. Okay, so that is L1 comma L1 doesn't belong to the set R. Okay, L1 comma L1 doesn't belong to the set R for all L1 belonging to the set L. Okay, so whichever line you take, whichever line L1 you take, right, okay, L1 is just a name of any line. So any line you take in the set L, the element L1 comma L1 won't be there in the set R, okay, because what you are getting L1 is not perpendicular to L1, right. So L1 comma L1 won't be there in the set R, okay. Therefore R is not reflexive, okay, therefore R will not be reflexive, right. Okay, now let us look at the second thing that we have to prove, okay. So we have to prove that R is symmetric. We have to prove that R is symmetric. So what we have to do in what we have to do when we have to prove that a relation is symmetric? So let us see. So by definition you have to take, right, if A comma B belongs to R, right, then what it should imply? This implies that B comma A belongs to R, right, for all A comma B belonging to the set A, right. This is the definition of symmetric relation, okay. If A comma B belongs to R implies that B comma A also belongs to R, okay. Now so we have to take elements of the type L1 comma L2, okay, belonging to the set R. So we have to take this. So let L1 comma L2 will belong to L1 comma L2 belongs to the set R for all L1 comma L2 belonging to the set L, okay, that is the set of all lines in a plane. Now if L1 comma L2 belongs to the set R, that means what? That means L1 is perpendicular to L2, okay. So you have this, L1 is perpendicular to L2, right, that is L1 makes an angle of 90 degrees with L2, right. Now if you look at the line L2 here, it also makes an angle of 90 degrees with the line L1, right. You can see here this line L2 also makes 90 degree angle with the line L1, okay. So what we can write? We can write L2 is perpendicular to L1, right. So that is L2 comma L1 belongs to the set R, okay. Order is important here, okay. Since L2 is first, we write L2 first here. So L2 comma L1 is second, so we write second, okay. So the element L2 comma L1 belongs to the set R, okay. So now what we got? We got if L1 comma L2 belongs to the set R implies that L2 comma L1 belongs to the set R, okay. We have proved it, okay, for all L1 comma L2 belongs to the set L, okay. Therefore what you get is R is symmetric, okay. R is symmetric, okay. Now let us prove that R is not transitive, okay. Let us prove that R is not transitive. So in transitive, what do you do? What is the definition of transitive relation? So if A comma B belongs to R and B comma C belongs to R, right, then A comma C belongs to R, right, for all A, B, C belonging to the set A, right. So here we are taking elements of the type A comma B and B comma C, where the second element of the first ordered pair is equal to the first element of the second ordered pair, okay. So we have to take what here in this case it is L1 comma L2 belonging to R and L2 comma L3 belonging to the set R, okay. We have to take this, okay. L1, L2, L3 belong to the set L, okay. Now that is what, since L1 comma L2 belong to the set R, means L1 is perpendicular to L2, right, okay. And L2 comma L3 belongs to the set R, means L2 is perpendicular to L3, okay. This we have. So we will have a diagram in this way, right. L1 is perpendicular to L2, okay. L1 is perpendicular to L2 and L2 is perpendicular to L3. Okay, L2 is perpendicular to L3. So we have a diagram in this way, right? Now what you can see for L1 and L3, okay, what you can conclude for the lines L1 and L3, you can see that L1 and L3 are not perpendicular, right? L1 is not making an angle of 90 degrees with L3, right? In fact, they are parallel, okay? So L1 is not perpendicular to L3, we get that, right? So what we get is L1 is perpendicular to L2 and L2 is perpendicular to L3, but L1 is not perpendicular to L3, okay? So that is L1 comma L3 will not belong to the set R, okay? L1 comma L3 will not belong to the set R because L1 is not perpendicular to L3, okay? So what we got L1 comma L2 belong to R and L2 comma L3 belong to R, but L1 comma L3 doesn't belong to R, okay? For L1, L2, L3 belonging to the set L, okay? So therefore we conclude that R is not transitive, okay? R is not transitive, okay? And therefore R is what? See, we have proved that R is symmetric, okay? And what we have proved? And we have proved that R is not reflexive and not transitive. So we have proved that R is symmetric but neither reflexive nor transitive, okay? So that was the example number 1, okay? Now let us go to the example number 2, right? So let us see what is the question first, okay? Show that the relation R in the set Z of integers, right? Script Z is nothing but the set of integers given by the set R equal to the set of the elements a comma b such that 2 divides a minus b, okay? So you have the set of integers, that is Z, script Z, and the relation R in the set Z is given as a comma b such that 2 divides a minus b. We have to prove that it is an equivalence relation. We have to prove that R is an equivalence relation, okay? So let us see how to solve this. Now what we have to show? We have to show that the relation R, okay, which is equal to a comma b such that 2 divides a minus b in the set Z is an equivalence relation, okay? That means we have to show that what? R is an reflexive relation, then R is a symmetric relation and R is a transitive relation. So all these three relations we have to show, okay? Then only we can say that R is an equivalence relation, okay? So let us go to the first thing. So that is to prove that R is reflexive relation, okay? So what you have to prove in the reflexive relation? A comma a belongs to the set R, right? Taking any element in the set A. Here the set A is what? The set A is the set of all integers, okay? That is Z, script Z. Okay, so we have taken one element A in the set of integers, okay? Now you see this. You look at the condition of the relation. What is the condition? 2 divides a minus b, right? 2 divides a minus b, it is given, okay? Now by divisibility rule of 2, right? 2 divides any integer if that integer is an even integer, right? So if you look at that, and if you look at a minus a here, okay, a minus a is what? A minus a will be 0, okay, and 0 is an even integer, right? 0 is an even integer. So what do you get? Since 2 divides 0, now you know that 2 divides any even integer, so 2 divides 0, right? So 2 divides 0, that is equal to a minus a here, okay, that is a minus a. So what you get? So 2 divides a minus a. Okay. So that is, if 2 divides a minus a, that means a comma a will belong to the set R. Okay. For, see, we have taken any a from the set of integers, right? So this condition, that is a comma a belong to R, is true for any integer, right? A. So a comma a belongs to R for all a belonging to the set Z. Okay. Therefore what you conclude is R is reflexive relation. Okay. Now let us prove that R is symmetric relation. Okay. So we have to now prove that R is symmetric relation. See, we are proving that R is an equivalence relation. Okay. We have proved that R is reflexive. Now let us prove that R is symmetric relation. Okay. So for symmetric relation, what we have to prove? That we have to prove that a comma b belongs to R. Okay. If a comma b belongs to R, then b comma a should belong to R, right? So we have to take this. We have to take a comma b belongs to R, right, first. Okay. So if a comma b belongs to R, that is what? That is by the condition 2 divides a minus b, right? Okay. So that is, a minus b is an even integer, right? If 2 divides a minus b, then a minus b has to be an even integer. Okay. So now one thing you have to note here. See, if a minus b is an even integer, right, what about b minus a? So let us see. We will take an example. So 22 minus 18, if you look at, right, so 22 minus 18 is what? It is 4. Okay. 22 minus 18 is 4, right, which is an even integer. Okay. This is even. Okay. Now what if you do 18 minus 22? So 18 minus 22 is nothing but minus 4, right? So minus 4 is also an even integer, right? Minus 4 is also an even integer, right? So what do you get? If a minus b is an even integer, b minus a is an even integer. Okay. I have given just one example, but it is true for every such differences, right? If the difference a minus b is even integer, b minus a is an even integer. Okay. That you have to understand. For every difference of this type where a minus b is an even, b minus a is an even integer. I have taken one example, okay, and checked. So but you have to know that it is true for every difference, okay, which we take. So what you conclude? So since b minus a is an even integer, therefore 2 divides b minus a, right? Since b minus a is an even integer, 2 divides b minus a. Okay, that is what? That is b comma a belongs to the set R. Okay. So we got this. So therefore if a comma b belongs to the set R, implies that b comma a belongs to the set R. Okay, for all a b belonging to the set of integers. Okay, therefore R is a symmetric relation. Okay. Now let us go to the third thing, that is proving R is transitive relation, right? Now in transitive relation, what you have to do? You have to take elements of the type a comma b and b comma c, right, which belong to the set R. We have to prove that a comma c belongs to the set R. Okay. So now since what is given here, a comma b belongs to the set R, so you have 2 divides a minus b, right? 2 divides a minus b, and also b comma c belongs to the set R, so 2 divides b minus c here. So these two statements you have, right? Now what is the meaning of this statement? 2 divides a minus b means what? A minus b should be an even integer. Okay. 2 divides a minus b means a minus b is an even integer, and again 2 divides b minus c means b minus c is an even integer, right? Okay. Now if you look at this a minus c, right? If you look at a minus c, how we can write that using this a minus b and b minus c? We can just add it, right? A minus b and b minus c, if we add, what we get? A minus b plus b minus c, right? Minus b and plus b gets cancelled here, okay? Minus b and plus b gets cancelled and a minus c you are getting, right? So a minus c we can write as a minus b plus b minus c. Now you have to know that sum of two even integers, okay, sum of two even integers is what? Is again an even integer, okay? Sum of two even integers is again an even integer, okay? You can check, you can take any two even integers, take the sum 18 plus 6, okay? 6 plus 18, if you do, what it is? 24, right? So 24 is an even integer. So like that, sum of any two even integer is an even integer, okay? So that is what a minus c is an even integer, okay? A minus c is an even integer, okay? Now since a minus b is an even integer, therefore 2 divides a minus c, right? Okay, so that is a comma c belongs to the set R. Okay, since 2 divides a minus c, therefore a comma c belongs to the set R. So therefore what you got? You got, if a comma b belongs to the set R and b comma c belongs to the set R, implies that a comma c belongs to the set R, okay, for all a b c belonging to the set Z, okay. So therefore what? Therefore R is transitive relation, okay. Now we have proved that R is reflexive, symmetric as well as transitive. Okay, we have proved that R is reflexive, symmetric as well as transitive. So therefore R is an equivalence relation, okay. So that was the example number 2.